Back in the surf, man. Let's go. Alright, there looks like some fun ones out today. It's actually been pretty fun today. I'm taking it. Back in the surf, man. Let's go. And another fun-ass session for the books. Oh, man. Today, I had a great time. I caught a lot of super fun waves. I was able to practice kind of a lot of motions. I got barreled, bro. It was clean, made it in and out, man. It's so freaking exciting. Be on the lookout through this video for some cool waves, for some cooler moves. You're gonna see a lot of me surfing here. Today, I got out there normal time, or about 11. It was just a party right when I got here. Super not crowded. Since it was a little bit later in the afternoon, most of the surfers were just leaving. There was so much opportunity. Like I said, it wasn't super crowded, so I was just surfing with like 3 or 4, maybe 5 other people out there, and that was people cycling in and out. They weren't even staying out there the whole time. Looks like it's gonna be another slow day. I was there for 1 hour, and then half the people that were already there, they left and new people interchanged. And after the second hour, another interchange happened, so everyone was switching out again. And then through the third hour, it happened that way as well. But I had all the time in the morning. It's my Sunday, man. I'm just chilling. Your mama's right behind you, little one.
Yeah, hi.
Look right behind you.
Hello.
Boat.
That's not a boat, that's a surfboard.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too.
I had all the time in the world. I was out there for probably like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. It was a good time. It was a good time. All right, there looks like some fun ones out today. For the most part, there's a lot of closeouts coming in. But I'm looking for those reforms once more. So it's all gonna be catching the wave on the outside and then riding it back in. And then catching that inside base on the reform. But honestly, maybe not. If the tide kind of steadies out, there may be some face just from the outside. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. Peace. It was beautiful out there today. The water was like clear. It looked super nice. When I was out there, today specifically, I just really felt in tune with the ocean. Like right when I got there, I just locked in, I put my head down. Honestly, my first wave wasn't too great, but I caught a couple of fun ones after that. It did take me a couple to get in the groove. The paddle out was pretty tough today. I was surfing a little bit south of the jetty, just like I was yesterday. And that paddle out, it was tricky to get out there. Like it took a lot of energy. I was like, oh. I found myself exhausted constantly trying to get back out there. And at the same time, once you got to a point, like once the set finished and like you kind of had duck dived under all the way, the whole current kind of just sucked you right back out to where you needed to go. It made it easier after a certain point to paddle out. You just had to get to that point, like that distance in the ocean, to where you catch the tide that's gonna drag you outwards towards the outside break, versus getting caught in that inside break, which is just like it's just constantly breaking on top of you, especially when a set's coming, because there's multiple swells that are coming from different directions that are all falling in on each other. I didn't even expect to get into this barrel. I just dropped in and I tucked because I was like, oh no, the wave is breaking in front of me. And then all of a sudden I see a tube wrapped around my face. I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna get smashed. I'm probably gonna get knocked out or whatever. And of course not. Of course not. I pull out and I still see the face in front of me. Every time that I get barreled, it blows my mind because it's like, it's almost by accident.
Got that on camera. That was a barrel. I got barreled. Let's go!
Barreled, pitted, similar notions, same kind of action. It's just when you pull in to where the wave turns into a tube in the middle. That doesn't really happen in every session. The wave doesn't always barrel. Sometimes they just lightly like break down the top. It's almost like a crumbling, like an avalanche, you know, like where everything slowly creeps down itself. That's how like a lot of waves will break, especially good surfing waves. But a barrel is slightly different. That's when the bottom of the wave actually hollows out. So and then it hollows out usually because it's merging with another swell. And so both these swells hit the break, and so the wave jumps up and kind of throws up, like throws up a whole host of water on top of it that will then formulate a circle or a cylinder to where if you time the wave correctly and then you put yourself in the motion where you tuck and put your head in there, or you tuck and put your body in there, but you kind of have to get in slow motion and get into that little cylinder and be in the wave. And the result is just this amazingly beautiful view of just the ocean just tunneling, and you see the sunlight refracting all around it. It's a feeling that's hard to describe. There's so many different colors involved depending on the time of day that you can get into that, and it's always so fleeting. It's one of those things you just want to experience again and again and again and again. And I can't even say I've gotten like a really long, deep barrel where like my whole body is like getting wrapped around, like in Surf's Up or something, where they're paddling in when it seems like 30-foot waves and the tube is just completely surrounding them, or there can be multiple people in the tube or something like that.
I'm resting. It's actually been pretty fun today.
I kept hanging out in like the middle of it. I would just lay in the water to cool down. It wasn't super warm out today. Like the water was keeping me cool enough. I barely even noticed the sun was beaming all morning. That was nice. The water was cool enough to where it kept me perfectly leveled out. Tide was funky to deal with, right? So being patient again was a big process for it, but at the same time just taking advantage of the opportunity in front of you, because a lot of these waves, they would break on the outside and they would look like they were going to break like super far on the outside, and then they would hold and then almost break on the inside, just closer to the shore.
Oh, come on. No!
Certain points, the tide would suck it out perfectly so that you just have like a perfect break right in front of you, like a perfect peak, and it was split down, probably like 3 or 4 peaks down the beach that I was on. The session went through its ups and downs. To be honest, when I first got out there, it was probably the worst time out of the whole day. And it slowly just improved as the tide went down. By the end of the day, like I almost didn't want to get out when I did, because it looked so fun still. Like there was only like, at the end of the day, there was like nobody else out there. But these waves they were popping, yo, they were holding, they were having a good form. Again, you had to be patient for it, so you had to wait probably like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe sometimes 10 minutes in between sets to get a good one. But that wait, if you're patient, it's freaking worth it. I was getting a lot of nice turns. I keep trying to do my cutback into the whitewash, like after I do a snap. So if I do a crazy snap and I can really sink my my look back, because right now I've been kind of lagging. I like, from my perspective in the water at least, like a journal as notes. When I'm out there, I feel like it was harder for me to cut back into the wave because I would go for the snap and I would keep my face looking where I wanted the snap to land, but I wouldn't then turn my whole head to cut all the way back. And so if I can get that motion just super smoothly, then that whole process is just gonna be like a lot faster, especially when I have speed coming off of a couple of these waves to do those cutbacks. So it'll keep me in the wave a lot longer and it'll keep me in a better poised position in order to get the next section of the wave after I do the first snap. And so that'll just prolong a lot more waves for me, especially after like a bigger motion or a bigger move.
Oh, I'm recording still. Shit. Thought I was just chilling. There's a wave. If I can get it.
But I was dropping in, I was looking down sometimes, and I was like, wow. I was like, this is a deep. I was like, this is a deep drop in. Like, I actually, like, I got some real speed on that. And I'm like, I'm looking over and I'm like, the wave is taller than me when I'm standing on my board at the bottom of it. So I'm like, yeah, these were pretty bigger waves. They weren't necessarily supposed to be shaped like that, I don't think, with the forecast for today.
I want to get there.
The real tricky part of today's session was just trying to figure that point between where the wave was actually going to break.
I got like 3 times right there. That was unlucky.
So keeping an eye on the slope from far away, and then just waiting till you see the peak and making sure that you are at where it is the highest peak. So no matter what, even if that wave doesn't fully form, you'll have enough speed and enough power generated from the wave to where you can pop up, and then from there you can kind of carve on the wave to prolong it as long as you can take it. Whether that's taking it in all the way for a reform and then taking it all the way into shore, or whether you just catch it through the break to catch the face on the other side and then the whole thing closes out right after. Sometimes the reform was not doing its thing today, and other times it was doing wonders. But you just had to judge based off of each individual wave that I was catching. So when I was out there, I was just making judgments, or I sometimes you can't tell until I'm popping up on the wave and I'm like, oh yeah, the whole wave is curling right in front of me. I can try and zoom through it, but sometimes, you know, you're just not gonna make it. You're gonna try and zoom through it, and the whole face of the wave is just gonna boom right on top of you, flatten you in layman's terms. So then you have to recover and then paddle back out.
I really thought I could get there.
The waves were holding out super, super well towards the end. I'm only able to get out surfing usually twice, maybe if I'm lucky, 3 times a week. And it's usually on my weekend or on like a holiday or something like that. So when I'm out there, man, like I'm just trying to stay there as long as possible. It's a 25-minute drive, 30-minute drive from my house. Drive back right now, so it's gonna be 40 minutes. That's why it's not worth it to go every single day here just yet. Not just because I don't live close enough to the beach. Drop a sub or something. Help me move close to the beach. I'll do these every single day. No question.
Yes, I've been missing. It's a vein!
Alright, though, some of these waves I was catching, I was messing them up. Like there was a couple of snaps I went for that I just got too far off the top of the wave and I ended up losing it. I was being a little rash, I guess, and that happens sometimes. That's one of the habits I'm trying to quell. That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier with turning my head to really do that cut back after that position, so I drop back into the wave. For the past several months, I've been going to the gym. Before I was just surfing and like I was doing calisthenics in my room, but I've been realizing today that I think some of the work I've been doing, at least on my back, like with like rows and just and deadlifts and such like that. I don't know if it's my lower lats, but I felt like I could activate them more and get a lot more strength. And today, like I was able to get into waves that would normally be a lot harder for me to get into. Like I was just able to kind of tear in and paddle super hard into them. And I felt the current beating, I felt how everything was flowing. So I could time it, because the thing about these waves is once they were ready to break, they would break really fast.
We'll close out.
So they would double up, so there was two swells coming in. A lot of times the swells would combine into each other to make one wave, and then with the tide getting sucked out, it would make this pretty large wave. Some of the waves were coming back around like 5 to 6 feet, something of that nature. Definitely exhausted me. I'm exhausted right now. Jesus Christ, I'm tuckered out. I just want to go home and lie down. But that's how you know it was a good session.
I'm taking it. Oh, does it have forever?
My mind, I feel like all my endorphins are running. I feel awake, feel like just tuned in. Yeah. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I love doing these. Leave a comment, critique, a like, anything like that. If you want to sub or something to help your boy move to a spot closer to the beach, I would welcome the love. And so yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you next time. Next video should be up shortly. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Yeah.